Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Dulce. This is predominantly a makeup channel. I I stumble over my words a lot and there's not much of a structure to the channel. I just like making content. It makes me happy. And that's pretty much it. So today we are talking about makeup. Specifically we are talking about, and please excuse the hair, I'm gonna tie it up and put it under a wig later, so I'm not really fussed about it. But today we are talking about the new release from Melt Cosmetics and the re-release of Gemini #1. So the new release is called Gemini #2. It's supposed to be the sultry sister of Gemini 1. Some people may already have Gemini 1. Gemini 1 has been out for, well, it released, I want to say years ago. And Gemini 2 dropping today. So I am going back and forth on whether I want to purchase this palette myself. One, because it's $58. Two, I have currently been trying to downsize my collection. And three, I feel like I already have this palette. And I guess four, the shimmers from Melt Cosmetics are not my favorite. And I know this is mostly a matte palette, which I dig. I like palettes that are mostly mattes. But still, I mean, that's two that I may or may not like, depending on whether they've reformulated or improved the shimmers in their, like the formulas of their shimmers or not, you know? So, I mean, do the math. Like, 2 out of all those, I mean, is it still worth getting? I don't know. But what I do know is that I feel like the palettes that have come in the past have the same kind of vibes. Okay, so what I'm first going to talk about, oh, and I keep this in mind because if you're looking at this palette, I want to say, if you have the first Gemini palette, I feel like you, at the very least, have about a third of the Gemini 2 palette. There's just, let's look at it, okay? Let's look at it. So I'll pop the picture of the Gemini 2 here. If you look at the green shadows on the right, those are very much similar to the ones that are in the Gemini 1 palette here. You see what I mean? So if you have Gemini 1, I feel like, you know, and if you're looking at Gemini 2 and that's what's drawing you in, you may want to revisit your Gemini 1 and, you know, show it some love again, you know, because you have it. I have it. Okay. So that's another reason why I'm just like, oh, you know, like, I mean, yeah, like these, I can get the same vibes and I get one extra green that the Gemini 2 doesn't give me, right? Another one that has that same green vibe from that end of the palette is the Avocado Toast palette from BH Cosmetics. This one. If you have that one, then you have that part of the palette that's drawing you in, you know? And I personally think BH Cosmetics shimmers are better than Melt shimmers. I don't need a glitter glue, you know, like I would need to use when I'm doing, you know, when I'm using the Gemini shimmer or any Melt shimmer. I feel like I would have to use a glitter glue. Okay. And I know this is a long shot, but so this is a long shot. Another palette that I feel like has the same kind of greens, the same tones of greens, like the grungy greens that you might already have in your collection if you're an indie fan, is the Serendipity palette from Alien Cosmetics, now known as Unearthly Cosmetics. If you already have this palette, I feel like you have what you need, because look at these guys, you know, and you have the reds from that middle section of the Melt 2 palette, which let's move into. Well, before we do, another palette that I want to mention that you might have, have the same vibes as Gemini 2 and 1 is this guy. You remember this guy? He made it, this pretty girl right here made a huge kerfuffle in the beauty space. One, because it was a indie cosmetics brand that no one's ever heard of. I think it's a one-woman run show. The artwork outside is gorgeous, and we just like seeing, I personally like seeing new brands, and it's a European brand. But it's a gorgeous palette. If you bought this palette, then I feel like not only do you have the green part of Gemini 2, but as I mentioned before, you practically have the first Gemini. Like I was mentioning before, let's move on to the middle part of the palette, okay? Now, the middle part of the palette is a lot of, and I keep looking down because I'm looking at the picture. The middle part of the palette, and actually it's more like the 5 shades in the center, which is actually the bulk of the palette, because the palette 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, the palette's 10 shades, and 5 of those shadows are red tinged, red colored, you know what I mean? So that's half of the palette, 5 of those. This palette is mostly, what you're looking at is a rosy colored palette, okay? Now, tell me you don't have a rosy colored palette in your collection. Tell me you don't. I feel like it, at this point everyone does, okay? And if you don't think so, let's talk about previous palettes, okay? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Now, I'm gonna bring it back real old school, okay? So if you have the Venus palette from Lime Crime, remember that guy? Okay. If you look at the Venus palette, that's the whole vibe of half of the Gemini 2. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Top row, the first 2 shades. Look familiar? That's basically that pretty, the second shade on the top row, that's basically a shimmer shadow version of that really pale pink color in the Gemini 2. You know what I mean? And the 2 colors in the corners, like the first top row one and the bottom right row one, come on, like they're it's the same vibes, you know what I mean? The next one, it's kind of like a repeat of the Venus, because it's the greatest hits palette, all right? It's the same vibes. If you have Venus, if you have greatest hits, I feel like you have half the Gemini 2. I mean, I think it's a cool palette because it's so grungy. I love it. And that's exactly why I really wanted to buy the Gemini 2, because it's so grungy. But I know myself, because I am one of those people that don't really vibe with rosy colors on my eyes. I feel like they make me look kind of funny, you know? And the cool thing about the greatest hits that the Gemini 2 doesn't get is like the grungy purples. There's like a palette, there's a color in here called In Bloom that's a purple gray. And then there's a purple gray with shimmer, and then there's a gray. Like this is so grungy, and I love that. Why don't I have this palette? Why, instead of looking at Gemini 2, I should be looking at getting this one. So the next palette I'm going to talk about is the Love palette from Natasha Denona. So I got the Love palette, and it took me forever to buy this guy, but it's because I just didn't want to bite the bullet. I have her, she's right here. So I'm gonna leave this on the screen because I want you to see that all these rosy colors right here are very similar to that one shade in Gemini 2 called Sweetheart, okay? And this guy right here, if you're drawn to love, was it gemelas? It's like a more red version of that shade gemelas. And if it's schmood that's really getting you going, these two, mix these two and you probably will get the same kind of vibe. Like, I feel like if you put schmood on your eyelids, on one eyelid and this on the other, I don't think you would be able to tell the difference, honestly. But the shadow that was getting my goat, okay, it was pulling me in, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't sleep. Like, I really like this shade of eyeshadow. Is LX Queen. LX Queen is calling my name. It is saying, Dulce, shell out the $58 plus shipping to buy this palette so that we can be together. It's doing that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I guess I am a little crazy. I feel like I have it. I have LX Queen, and I have LX Queen in a shimmer form. Look at this. Remember this? Yeah, that's a BH Cosmetics Cherry on Top palette. If you have this guy, that will feed your craving for LX Queen. Okay? Now, I'm just trying to help you out. I am probably beyond help, as you can probably... Oh my god, now that I think about it, this hair is really coinciding with my moods today, because I feel like frantic. Anyways, which is a huge change. Like, if you've seen all my other videos, I feel like it's night and day. Like, who is this person? I don't know. I like her. So I feel like it will satisfy your craving for LX Queen. If you were like me, you know, if at once upon a time you were that person that was like, gotta catch 'em all Pokemon, and bought all the palettes in a collection, the Sweet Shop collection, then you probably do have this, man, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. What I do want to say is, if for whatever reason you can't buy this palette, or you don't want to buy this palette because you can't, or maybe you're going to buy it but you're just gonna wait on it, but you need something to like give you, to satisfy your craving for that palette, show your old palette some love, man, you know? And you know what, hey, before we say goodbye, before we say see you later, okay, do you remember this guy? You remember him? Little man over here? This green? If it's the dark greens, like, I feel like, I'm not even joking you, I feel like if you have this palette, you might have the Gemini too. Because if you wanted to go light green, like, you know, like the light greens in the Gemini, go a little soft. You know what I mean? And if you want to play in between light and dark, you have those two colors to switch, to sort of like control how dark of a green you want to go, or how light of a green you want to go. Anyways, look, I'm trying to get creative over here for you, you know, because I'm just trying to help each other out, okay? Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, let me know. I never know how to start these videos, and I never know how to end them. Maybe I'll end up getting better at it one day, hopefully soon, so I don't sound like a bumbling idiot. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a good day, a great day, and do something that you feel like you haven't done today. Like, you're like, you know what, I've been putting off this thing. I'm gonna try that new restaurant over there. You know, the food looks good. You're like, you know what, let me call my friend. Let me call my mom. You know, call your mom. Tell her you love her. You know, because, you know, she's probably wondering the same thing. Why the hell I haven't called her? Why haven't you called her? Or something. Call someone you love, basically. It doesn't have to be your mom. Anyways, so yeah, I will see you guys later. Take care. Peace.